Well, welcome to Unguarded. My name is Joe Smith. I'm minus the other half of this podcast because we are currently in Malawi. We are here on a trip with Mosaic, our church and community, and we've been here for the last week, and it's been incredible. And we had an idea that we thought it would be amazing to take some time to talk about really important things with some of the most incredible people that I know. And so I want to take a moment and introduce you to some dear friends of mine. In fact, why don't actually you take it and tell the people who you are, who are our honored guests today.
What's that? Okay, I am Fales Chibambo. Um, yeah, we have three kids. My husband is here and he's going to introduce himself as well. Yeah.
My name is Blessings Chibambo. Of course, this is my dear, beautiful wife over here. We have three kids together, and where we are right now, it's called African Bible College, and I am the executive campus director, which includes there's a clinic, there's a college, and an academy. So that's where God has placed us for this season.
It's amazing. And how long have you been working? How long have we been working together with Mosaic and Live Love and ABC? If you haven't noticed, you're gonna identify Blessings has like 12 jobs. So it's hard to keep up with all the things. But we've been working together for how long now?
It's been 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
9 years since I knew you, since I knew Mosaic, and yeah, in those different capacities. So yeah.
And it's been cool. We've had so many meals together. We've done life together. We've served the world together. But I have to say, we also have met presidents together. Or you want to tell that story for a second? What that was like?
Yeah. So was it 2022? I think
Yeah.
we met the president of Malawi. It was really an honor to hear from His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, but also not going by myself. We had Pastor Joe and Pastor Elwin, Pastor Kim. So it was a room full of hope and the future. So it was a great experience.
Yeah. It was such a cool moment, and I'll never forget. Rolling up to the palace, and there was zebra, his left monkey. That felt like we were on a safari on the way to the president's state house. Yeah, but I love we were in a room like kind of like this, a waiting area, and I love the conversation. I'll never forget it. That Pastor Irwin had with you, and just noticing you were nervous. You want to get the protocols right and the honor right, but also what an incredible moment to be leading the president of your country. And you want to take a moment and tell the people what Pastor Irwin said to you, like that moment, like that shaped you. I feel like in a really powerful way.
Yeah, I was so nervous and I'm sweating. I don't know, like, what am I gonna say? And I turned to Pastor Elwin and I said, "Hey, do you ever get nervous?" So he said, "All the time," but I have to tell myself like I belong in the room, because if I don't, I miss out on everything that's in that room. So if it's my future, if it's my moment, that all goes away, and that really impacted my life, and I've used that now everywhere I go. So even on that journey, when we went in the and to meet the president, I used that. I used that, and I was even able to tell a story about my kids, and the president laughed. So, so that's good. So everywhere I've gone, is I belong. If God has allowed me to be in that space, He has a reason why I'm in there. And so I just have to enjoy the moment, but also look at what God wants me to do.
Yeah, I really love that. Yeah. So it's just been so cool to just do life together. I loved Blessings from the moment I met him. Thought he was the most incredible person I ever met. And then I met Phallus. And then I was like, oh no, Blessings is maybe the second most incredible person, And so I love the fact that we get to like so many people know Blessings.
Yeah.
Maybe not as many people know Phallus, and I'm very excited for the world to experience. I know what he has experienced in you. So why don't we take some time and why don't you tell us a little bit about you two? Like, how did you meet? Tell us a little bit of story about Phallus and Blessing.
Oh, okay. We met right here on campus. When we met, I was a freshman and he was a junior. So I'd come and, well, I saw Blessings and, well, I thought he was all over the place. That's what I felt because I would always see him because it was a small campus, like very few people, about 300 or less. So it was like that was the entire school and you'd know most of the people. So I'd see him a lot going up there, doing this. He was singing in chapel. He was doing so many things. And I was like, why does he do all those things? Like, does he want to get noticed or what? I just felt like he was everywhere. Everywhere I went, I would see him. Little did I know that he was the one. Yeah, so I used to play table tennis and he also loved, so we'd all go to the student center and start playing table tennis. And most of the times that's where we would like talk because of that sport. So yeah, afterwards we'd sit down, talk about our lives, where we're coming from.
Well, I have to ask, who's the better table tennis player?
We haven't played in a long time. I'd want to say myself, but I'm not very sure. Maybe.
I let her win. So.
Yeah, so that's how we met, and then that's how the friendship started. From that moment, we would just be honest with each other. He used to ask me a lot of questions as well about myself, where I'm coming from, what I believe in, what my dreams are, and I would just tell him everything until one day he came and go like, can we sit down and talk? I was like, well, we always talk. We don't need to sit down. Why do we need to sit down and talk? He says, no, I have something that I want to tell you. I said, you can just tell me now and you don't need to sit. And he insisted, no, we have to sit down. And we kind of had that maybe 5 or 10 minutes of trying to figure out why we should sit and not just stand. Well, in the end, we sat there and then he goes like, I like you, but what I want from you or for you is that you should be my wife. And I was like, I'm not ready for that. I'm not even prepared for a relationship. You can't tell me about me becoming your wife. It's like, yeah, but you have to be my girlfriend first before you become my wife. But I want you to know the intention is that I want to marry you. And I was like, okay, I have heard you. So can I think about this? Well, he didn't let me. He said, if you want to answer me, it's today and now.
Wow.
Not when you go back there and then listen to your friends and everybody else telling you what to do. If you want me, you say yes right now. And if you don't, just say no. But I won't let you go before you answer me. So I was like in a corner, in a tight corner, like, okay, so.
Did he have a gun to your head?
Nothing like that. But I was just like, I don't know. I just wanted to like bury myself underground. Like, okay, how can I just disappear? But I couldn't. Anyway, I said yes. And then we prayed. And then I became the girlfriend. And he was the boyfriend. Yeah, I think that's how we met. Yeah.
Wow. So what was going on in your mind and your heart where you're like, it's now or never? Well, maybe give us on your end that thought process.
Yeah, I think I just push it back a little bit. I think I had been praying for, I was, I don't know if we would call it liberal, but maybe very strict type of Christian in those days. So I said I'll not marry a girl who wears, we gotta be real over here, that wears, pants, so one that only wears skirts and one that only has short hair. As you can see, we're disqualified on one, but still we got the short hair. Yeah. So when I saw her, I was like, that's what I've been praying for. So even that ping pong time, the table tennis time, every time she would hit the ball and say yes. I'm like, okay, thank you, Lord, because she's already said yes. So, because I was in my junior year, and I was one of those boys, where people are like, I don't think they can get a girlfriend because you're very reserved and all that. But I think that voice, like, oh, she's the one. And what I also did was, I had one of the professors that was really a great friend of mine. So I told him, like, hey, I got a girlfriend, and no. I have someone that I really want, to be part of my wife. So I was like, oh, bring her, we'll play some games and see, what she's like. And she didn't even know. So we went there, and, they are putting check marks.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. And she beat us on that game, the 30 seconds. Yeah. And she was like on fire in that game. So they called me to the kitchen without even having, like, yeah, I think she's good. Yeah, so I asked a few of my friends, and there were a few friends that are like, I could see, like, they are also eyeing the same person. So like, oh, I gotta be quick. Yeah. So yeah, and then when that moment, I was like, Lord, if she's the one, she's gonna be the one, and I just had to be honest, like, I don't want to just do this for the sake of doing it. There's a purpose of why I'm doing this. And the best part for me is, after that, we prayed. Yeah, just to seal the moment, to seal the deal, because I think the foundation is really important when it comes to relationships. So, like, for us to start with that, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, in that moment. Though the next day I was like, okay, she said yes, and then now what? Like, I didn't know how to, because the pursuing was really great, but now it's like, she's like, even herself, she was also
I
like,
couldn't come out of the hostel.
yeah, she couldn't call, like,
I couldn't go to the cafeteria to get food.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I said, okay, I said yes, then what?
What
do I
do
What do
yeah,
I do?
yeah,
Like, so I got out of the hostel, and then I could see there was a chair just close by the cafeteria. And then he was sitting there with his friends. I'm like, how am I going to pass there?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm going to do. So I was just stuck in the hostel, hungry and wanting to go get food. I couldn't.
I want to go back a second. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I love the fact you were talking about, as we started our relationship, the first thing we did seconds after was prayer. Yeah. And this became a foundational thing for us, for you. I love if you can maybe talk for a little bit about what are other foundational pieces that you think maybe in your guys' relationship, you're as a couple, as Chibambos. Yeah. What is the foundation that you guys have established that matters to you, and then maybe if you could give some other thoughts or counsel on what could be great foundation pieces for other people who are maybe starting their relationships.
You want to start?
I can. Okay. Yeah, so as you said earlier on, that we prayed. And then after that prayer, we also sat down and said, okay, so what are we going to be doing afterwards? So we had made it that every Friday would be a day of prayer and fasting while we're on campus. So every Friday we would have our petitions and then pray over those things every Friday, and then would pray together, would fast together and pray together. And we thought like that also helped us a lot in our Christian walk as well as in our relationships. And also being true and honest about who we are and what we expect of the other. That's another big thing that we decided to do, to say, okay, we grew up from different families. We are different people. He comes from the northern part of Malawi. I come from the southern part of Malawi. We are different people. And on a normal day, people go like, why would you marry a northerner and why would you marry somebody from the central region?
Wow. It's like Romeo and Juliet. Right? How could you do that?
Yeah.
Yes, but then because we saw who we were and what we wanted for our lives to be like, so we said, okay, we're not in the central. We are in the central region, yes, but we're not saying that we are this and you are that. We want to build a life where it's us. So we're making our own culture in our own way, and this is what we're going to hold on to. So we'd always make time to pray. and just being honest of who we are, what our fears, and maybe some of the things that I would do, he would not be comfortable with. Some of the things that I would do, he would not be comfortable with. So we were raw and we told each other the truth to say, okay, so we know we've been doing things like this, but we want to be doing things this way. So we have not stopped like praying together. We have not stopped fasting together, because we feel like it's something that has kept us, and it will keep taking us further if we continue that. Well, one thing I did not mention is I was only here for a semester.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And how
So-
long is a semester in the school? 3 months? 4 months?
It's 3 to 4 months. Yeah. So I was only here for that long, and then I had written several entrance exams in different colleges, and the one that I wanted was not here. So I left after that and went to about 6 hours away from here. It's in the southern region. So even that moment was like a testing moment for us, because so many people said a lot of things to him, like, oh, once the girls leave here and go somewhere else, then they'll find another boyfriend, and you'll be just like anybody else. So maybe just dump her and see what life is going to bring you. And it was another tough moment that we experienced then, but somehow we survived.
For 6 years.
And that lasted that long.
It lasted for 6 years.
We dated for 6 years, and we got married just as
The
we
first
were
day
in
of our 7th year.
of our 7th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
The level of patience that had to take to say the day one of the relationship. I want you to not just be my girlfriend now, but with the intention I want you to be my wife, and then to wait 6 years. How did you last?
Not easy. Not easy. And just going back to the foundation, I think one of the things that really helped us was even before I had asked her out, there were so many days that we were just real. And I asked a lot of questions. She asked a lot of questions, literally on why do you believe what you believe? Like, what has your Christian journey been? Like, your families. And we found, I think, some commonalities in the family struggles, and just knowing, like, oh, this is the person that I am going to, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life, this is what she is. And if we are to tell the people, especially youth of today, all they look at, my wife is beautiful, but all they look at is, beauty or what that other person has. Like, actually, when she found me, or when we found each other, I was a security guard. That was my job here at ABC. There was nothing really to look forward from me at that point.
All potential.
Yeah. But who would have known? That's like how many years ago now. But because people look at the person and say, okay, because this one is so. There was no name attached to us by then. So just believing in who that person is at that particular moment, and believing I walk with you no matter where God, gets you. And that's really beautiful. And that's what I think we call a foundation. And maybe some listening or watching the podcast here is maybe you're not a Christian. You're like, oh, you guys are talking about prayer and fasting. But one thing that you can take away from this is being the real you before you commit. The other person has to know you. It's harder when you get into it, and that's when the people now see your true colors. It's gonna turn around. So being able within that relation, or within those starting years, to be able to be true. I mean, we continue to learn along the journey. And as I said, now 6 years was not easy. Actually, there was a time I was in the States. So one of my cousins calls me and says, hey, are you still dating that guy now? That girl. That girl. But the point was, because now I'm like, okay, this is the day that, I'm going to end it, because it was just so hard. Like, she was 4 or 5 hours away. So he's like, oh, yeah. So I'm like, okay, what did she do? And he shouldn't even have called me, because then he's like, oh yeah, I see her going to pray like every morning. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was expecting like, oh, I saw her with another guy, but so like even from afar, and that's what we talk about integrity, like even when no one is watching you, when you are in your own space. So just being able like, oh wow, and now I have no reason, even if it's 6 years, but I have no reason, rather than it's when there's a basketball game, like I'm all by myself, when my other friends have their girlfriends around, I'm like, okay, I wish she was here. But I can testify right on this podcast, like most of those friends that maybe we started dating together, they didn't end up in marriage. I always looked forward when she was coming for holiday. Like I couldn't wait to see her. When I would go visit her, I couldn't wait to go see her. So there was that, that longing every time, and honestly, she really helped me in a lot of areas. I think again, foundation is really important. Where I think we can be honest on this podcast, where she would ask me even about, we're not even there yet, but questions even about sex. Like I hear, boys are crazy about this thing, So it could hit me like, but she was just being honest, I'll wait until marriage. What is your philosophy about this area? And those things I can tell you, especially here in Malawi, people don't talk about those things. They have their feelings, but they don't want to talk about, because if you talk about it, you know where to cut the boundaries. She could come home even after I graduated, but by 4 p.m. she would leave. I'm like, really? Like, can you just stay for? So she was a woman, still is a woman of value. Like, she couldn't break her principles. Literally 4 p.m. She was like, yep, before it's dark, I got to get out of here. So you don't find, many girls like that, that can stick to their principles and be able to say until marriage. So that was really important for me as a foundation.
No, that's beautiful. There's so much in that we could take it in so many directions. But I love, and a common theme I feel like I'm hearing with you guys is the power of being honest with each other, of authenticity and transparency, even when it hurts. And I think in relationships, a lot of times people withhold that. You're guarded, because you want to just keep the peace. So what is it, maybe start with you, Phallus, because it seems like maybe you drove a lot of that. I'm just going to tell it like it is. I'm going to be truthful and honest. Like, how were you able to do that with Blessings and not be afraid that he would run, or be afraid that the conflict could like cause division? Like, what is it about your guys' relationship that you've discovered the power of being honest with each other?
Well, I think it goes back to my family background. In my family, we used to be like too many of us. Like my parents would bring a lot of relatives, cousins, nephews, nieces. So it'd always be like a very big family. And my dad didn't like to talk about most of the things. And because of that, my mom wouldn't also talk much about whatever was going on. So it was just like a very big family, but sometimes we're not talking to each other. And then the moment we get to talk to each other, it's because something has happened. It's more of a disciplinary, like, when he says, let's have a family meeting, and then everybody goes like, oh, okay, what happened? So I told him, like, this is how I grew up. I do not want this in my life. I want to be as honest as I can be. And if you want to leave me because of that, that's fine. I think I made peace with it. I made peace with myself to say, I will tell it as it is. And if somebody doesn't like it, then I'm okay. If they want to make things work, we'll work on this. But if that person doesn't want, then let's just be honest with each other. And I think that's where it was coming from. So I'd always go like, okay, then let's talk about this. So the first thing would be like, what do you think about it? I already have my own thoughts, but I just want to hear like, what do you think about this? Like, if something like this happens, then how can you deal with it? Because I want to understand how he thinks and how he wants to take things. And then I'll see myself if I'm fitting in that, or if something that I don't want to be part of. So I think that's where the honesty comes from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Oh,
I love that. What was maybe if you can be honest or real, what was maybe one of the hardest conversations that you had as a couple where you had to be real with each other and really honest and open, and that was a challenging time? Like what, if you could think of that moment, and then how'd you overcome it? How'd you get on the other side of it?
That's it.
A specific one.
Yep.
yeah.
When we're in our relationship or now as a married couple?
Either or. Whatever
Oh,
comes to
either.
mind.
Okay, either or. Oh, there's been many.
Or maybe your more recent one.
Hmm.
If we were here on the podcast, we love talking about the fights.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause I know with Beck and I, we're
Yeah.
always stronger on the other side.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
our
yeah.
conflict or
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah. Maybe you start.
I start.
Um,
Okay. One of the, I wouldn't call it a conflict, but something that we kind of had to talk, a lot was about kids. We had talked about having 2 kids. That's what he had always settled for, to say, oh no, we're going to have 2 kids only, and that's fine. I said, oh, okay, I think 2 is okay. And then we had our first one, and she was kind of tough for us. And
What's
then
her name?
Ariella. Yes, it was just the 2 of us when we had her, and we're out of the country. He was doing school, so it was just the 2 of us taking care of a kid in a different country, and it was a bit rough. And so he decided, he's like, with all this, we just have one. We just have one child. I said, okay. Then I'd just given birth and all this, and I thought, like, 1 is enough. And then later on, I'm like, let's have another child. He was like, nope. So we had like a little bit of a fight there to have another one, and then we did. And the 3rd one, oh my goodness, I had to push. Because he was like, no, we discussed 2 and we agreed for 2. We settled for 2. I said, okay, let's just try one more time. And he kept going like, no, 2 is enough, and this and that. And that was, we had to talk a lot about having another one, and asking me, how sure are you that we should have one more, and this and that.
So I should pray and fast. Like, the Sunday, rather than praying and fasting, it's just a child. Say.
And I think that's one that I can talk of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many kids do you have? At 3. So you won at 3. Just like a table tennis.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's she's a planner, and I'm not.
He's right.
Yeah. I love in the moment, and sometimes I don't realize it, because I think I'm just wired that way. I do multiple things at once, and it doesn't work really with family. I think it's not an organization; it's family. So I think sometimes I'm wrapped up in that. So recently we had, I think that it was tense. It's like, you've done ABC, you didn't tell me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I thought I did, but in all honesty, I did not. So I think. And I think that has been repeated several times.
Yeah.
And usually I feel like I've done, or sometimes it's like, okay, I just felt like, I can do it on my own. And then, by the time I'm like, oh, can we talk? It's like, now the checklist begins to be so clear.
Sure, yeah.
I should have, I didn't talk about that and that.
But I'd hear that's universal. That's not just an American. I did tell kids how many times me and Beck have had that same conversation. I absolutely told you. She's like, no, you didn't. And then I realized I did tell you in my head.
So, but we learn each and every day, but also I think I can confront people everywhere apart from really, I think, my family, which I'm learning. I think that was really our recent one. It's where I'm like, okay, I know I'm supposed to tell her, I know I'm struggling with this, or I feel like, okay, I'll just do it and then not to bother you. But then I want to be part of that because I'm part of you. I want to hear it. If it hurts you, it has to hurt all of us, but I don't want to hear it when it's already done. Or you are asking me for an opinion while you've already decided what you want to do. Then what do you want me to say? What if I say no? And then I look like I'm on the defensive, position. Yeah, say she breathed in and out right now. Yeah, so I might have another conversation after this, so I might just be ready. But that's really for me has been a struggle, and I have to be honest. I'm still learning. I'm still learning on that one. So there are better days. There are days that you have to swallow the pride and because marriage relationship is about commitment, and we are all out there. There've been marriages we've looked at and say, "Oh, that's the best that we can follow," and the next day you hear is their divorce. So it's a commitment. We come from different. We're not gonna be the same every time. But actually, she's asked this question several times, like, what is really love? When we talk about love, it's not just about the feelings, because feelings go away, they go and they come. But I think it's the commitment that goes with it. And if our vows here in Malawi is like for better, for worse, for better, for worse. Yeah. And how do you define better? How do you define worse? Worse is worse, like at the worst moments. And it's not just sickness. It's the worst mistakes. It's the worst misunderstandings. So it is commitment. With that extended version of I don't want to be in trouble again.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah. Fales, what do you love most about Blessings?
Wow. What I love most about him? Oh, his heart. He loves, like he really loves. Always challenged by how he helps a lot of people. And sometimes I go like, why did you even help that person? They didn't need to be helped.
Yeah.
But then after some time, and you see the impact that had on him, on the other people, just wow. So he's one of the people that like helps a lot of people like without thinking about it. I think that's also my challenge sometimes. Like he'll just do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not important, like he said, but he's helping. I know he should be helping. He should be doing those things.
Yeah.
But then why not involve me? It's a good thing that he's doing, So I love how he's just able to share his life with so many people. Like he just does it sometimes. He just comes and he just does it, and then I go like, okay, it's a good thing, but why? What? Why did you do that? So I love that he loves, and he loves me. So I love him for that. He loves me, so I know he loves me. Yes.
Beautiful. Blessings, what do you love most about Fales?
I think it's the same girl that I found, that many years ago, since 2009. So I think for any man, I think when you go out or when you come home, to be able to say, we always put in line, and not worry about, I'll be spoken to, but it's coming from a loving heart. But also, I think she's been principled from day one, and that I really value. She's a city girl. She grew up here. I'm a village boy. Yeah, I can mix all the colors in the world. But being told like, nope, you're not wearing that. Oh, I really love that. So her honesty, she doesn't hide words. What's that book that talks about people's character? Like she's a number one or something.
Enneagram.
Yeah, the anagram. Yeah, she's a number. She will just tell you the way it is. And not even go about the bush, which really has helped me to be even a strong leader because I am told what is supposed to be done, and I'm really grateful. And she's caring. And she's smart. I know she's smarter than I am. So I have to tell this example. So I'm defending my thesis for my master's program at Northern Arizona University. So these professors, they grilled me with those questions. She just stands up and says, yeah, no, in Malawi, and she answers on my behalf. So you can see even in that moment someone that has always been by my side. Like no. I know you're my wife, but this I'm the one to be grilled in this room. Like, no, I'm not gonna let you grill my husband while I'm right here. And they laughed. They're like, wow, we've never seen anything like this. And they took it as a positive thing. And so I've loved her love, and just her honesty and just keeping it real and just her smartness. So,
Beautiful. Yeah. Always got his back, no matter what.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that.
Yeah.
I did that again.
In front of everybody.
Sorry.
Like, I can handle myself. Like, nope.
That's good. One of my favorite things about Beck and I's relationship, and I see it in you guys as well, is we love to laugh together. I feel like there's something about laughter and shared memories and experiences. What brings you two to laugh the most in your relationship?
I think it's usually the stories that we share. If this the story and usually they are from our youth. When I think we did so many crazy things when we were in our relationship. I used to stay at this. I don't know if that's really a good thing, but I used to stay at this house, and so we were walking to our house. So we're like, why should we go all around? Let's just go climb the fence. Literally, I'm pushing her instead of going around to where our house was. And now when we drive by, we're like, there are all houses around. I'm like, why did people think because they would have easily mistaken us for thieves, jumping over the fence. This other time I went to visit her at college. So she's trying to take money from the ATM from... So I'm like, hey, babe. So she put it in, and then I hit,
Yeah, when the money was out, I was supposed to take it
to
and
take the card.
She pushed my hand.
Yeah. So I pushed her hand. Oh, guess what? That thing swallowed the money and the card. Yeah. So that meant we had to wait until the next day, and I was
It was
leaving.
actually the weekend.
Yeah, it was the weekend.
Like the banks are going to be closed. We can't even go in to say, okay, this happened. We had to wait. That was on a Saturday. We had to wait until Monday.
So
and we were supposed to go to the hospital with that money because I had a toothache.
So it's like, and I have no cash. So there's, and now with our kids, there are just several moments that that we've, it's healing.
Yeah, it's healing. Yeah, healing. I love that. And I love just being here and seeing your kids run all around, and that's the common theme, right? Is just listening to their laugh. Like they love you two. I even the other day, you rolled up. It was in the car outside the house. You honked a little bit just to get their attention, and then when I walked over, because the house I'm staying at is right next door, I look over and the kids are on the floor looking at the little sliver of the garage door that's open, looking, where's daddy? And they're like, daddy, and you could just see a sense of excitement and expectation, Speaking of your kids, I love the family you've created with the three. that you won, Phallus. Are there like family values that you guys have that you passed on to your kids, or even maybe more importantly, what are like values or characteristics you think your kids, if we ask them, would say that they notice in your relationship and in your family?
I think prayer has really been, we've really loved. Sometimes when our kids pray, we have to open our eyes like, oh,
Is that you?
yeah, is that you? And as we said, that was the foundation for us. And we didn't even know how to really pass it to them. But I think they've watched. I remember one day I was really sick, and Phallus is getting the kids out of the bedroom. He's like, "Hey, Dad is sick. Get out of here!" And one of the kids really melted our hearts and says, "Mommy, but I want to pray for Dad."
Wow.
And she was like, "Okay, I should have thought about that." So and then they come, and pray, and even sorry has been really on their, like they know when they have done something wrong, and they'll come running. "I'm so sorry, I did ABC," or asking before they do something. Like recently, like you can't leave without telling your dad or mom, and they'll be able to say, "Hey, can we go do ABC?" I mean, kids will be kids, but you see that sincerity. So,
And also forgiveness. If somebody has done somebody wrong, the kids, and the other person says, "I'm sorry," and the other one does not respond to say it's okay, this one will start crying and say, "I asked them and they're not forgiving me. They didn't say it's okay." So if it has even gone to school, where like if they're in the classroom and somebody has done something wrong and they say, "Okay, I'm sorry," and that kid does not say it's okay, the other one will keep crying, will tell the teacher, and the teacher will even come to say, "Oh, so this happened and this one didn't say it's okay." And now it has become a culture in the classroom whereby if somebody says, "I'm sorry," the other one is forced to say, "It's okay."
It's okay.
And then it's going to be okay. So we've seen that, oh, okay, so these things, you don't really need to tell them, do this, do that, but they can watch. And then they know, okay, if I've done something wrong, I have to apologize. And then the other person has to tell me it's fine. Or it's okay. And then that's when they know, okay, it's fine. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then the other one is going to be very sad. Actually, the one who offended the other is the one who is sad. Like, I said sorry, but she's not forgiving me. He's not forgiving me. So the forgiveness you can see even in them. Okay, it's still hurting, but it's okay. Yeah. So just the honesty as well, it's in them. Yeah.
It's great. I love that. David Yanez, who is, the man behind this podcast, the man behind the camera right now, is in a relationship, right? In a good place. Dave, do you have a question for Blessings and Fales that you'd love to ask? You're dying to know somebody who's in the middle of a brand new relationship.
Outside of prayer, widely background for me, for getting into my relationship, like the things that I wanted was someone who believes the same thing I believe, someone who's comfortable in their own skin, and someone that I can laugh with. And we started doing devotionals and prayer. One of your foundations was prayer, but what were other pivotal foundational pieces to building something that lasts?
I think it's what you've talked about. I think like for us it was honesty. For us it was just being real. As you said, letting someone be in their own skin. I think I love to see my wife flourish. Actually that's like the other day she was preaching, and I know she can. But she's up there. I'm like, oh wow, yeah. So like being able to let her blossom in her own way. I think that's really. I think people are kind of like, chasing each other. Like, okay, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. But you shape each other. I think, and that was really, really. And we started by being real with each other. What do you do this? Why do you do what you do? And she had more questions, I think, than I had, but it really helped to bring out that which she would want in a man. Yeah.
It's great. How about you, Fowles?
The same things, I think. I like to question things for me to understand. So for people that do not know me, when I ask them questions, they feel like I'm attacking them. But for myself, when I ask questions, that's when I get a lot of answers, because some people will not speak until you ask what they believe in. So yes, just being comfortable. Then I also, I never used to wear pants myself, because I used to think, no, pants are not, that's not a Christian. And then
Look
I
how
had,
far you've come.
and then I didn't even know that he was looking for somebody with short hair. I've always loved having short hair. I've had hair, but then I also, after that, I had hair, and then I cut it in 2018. And since then, I have kept my hair short. So just being comfortable with myself, and then him being comfortable with me, and also helping me. He's pushed me to do more. Sometimes I feel like, oh no, I don't think I can do that. I cannot do that. That's too much. That's too big. And then he'll push me. Sometimes I'll say, oh, can you help me with this? He goes like, I'll help you. And then he goes like, no. And then I feel like, oh, he doesn't want to help me this and that. And then he tells me to say, the reason why I did not want to help you there, because I knew you would do it, but you were just not wanting to do it, or you were just afraid. So I wanted you to conquer that fear. So I've also learned, sometimes it's the tough love that also helps you to go forward, to push you to do better even. And yeah, I've learned a lot from him. I've learned a lot from his life and how he does things. And I keep learning. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I don't know if I've answered the question, but I think I've said what I wanted to.
That's great. I love it. Yeah. Now, as we close, I've loved this conversation. I've learned so much about you two. I've learned things that I'm going to take into my relationship with Beck, and things that have really shaped me. So first, thank you so much for being open and honest in this. And one of the greatest things that we hope in these conversations that we have about relationships, about life, is that we would really help people. We believe that one of the greatest gifts, if not the greatest gifts that God gives us, is the gift of love. It is the gift of committing your life to another person, and all the highs that come with that, all the lows, all the joys and laughter, and all the struggles and pains. That there's no greater journey that you can go on than the journey of love. And we just desperately want people to find what we have found, right? If you could leave our audience, those listening, maybe with just one piece of advice. They've already gotten so many incredible things and foundational pieces, but maybe there's a couple listening that is trying to establish a great foundation. Or maybe there's a single person that's listening going, oh, I want to be able to notice or look for the right things. If there's one piece of advice, one piece of counsel that you would give somebody who desperately wants to be in a healthy relationship, what would you say?
Just start.
Okay. I think relationship and marriage is about starting over almost every day. Because as we are talking of, struggles, today you might, like the love might be high. And the next day, literally like you're starting from zero. You have to build again. And you can just give up like that. Because there are more that we learn. We need each other. Human beings are built for each other. Yeah, I know we have different beliefs, but those that are struggling right now, go back to your spouse and say, "Hey, I want to start over." Go back to your to your significant half and say, "I want to start over." And that's not the end, because next week you're going to do the same. Next month you're going to do the same. Next year you're going to do the same, because it's a commitment.
Yeah.
It's a commitment. And for you to be joyful, for you to be to love again, you keep feeding it. You have to feed it each and every day. And it's those moments that shape us and bring about beauty into our into our loved ones as well. So yeah.
Love that.
Yep, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It won't be easy. Everything that something that is going to last, something that is going to have meaning, it will not be easy to get by. So put in the hard work every single time.
Yeah.
You keep learning, unlearning, relearning. It's something that you keep doing, and you cannot say, I did it yesterday, so I cannot do it again. But you do it over and over and over again. Yeah. After all, we humans, we make mistakes, we offend other people, but also just being humble to say, I did the wrong thing. I want to do it. I want to make it right. Yeah. I think that's something that we all need to strive for. Yeah.
I got a last one.
Yeah.
Have fun, please. Goof around. It helps, especially now with the kids. They love that, and they become a bond between us. But goof with the wife, and it really helps. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for just opening up your world, opening up your life. Thank you for the love that you've shown each other, and that you've been an incredible example to not just your family, not just your friends, not even just your community. You've been such a great example to the world of what can happen when you put Jesus at the center of a relationship. What can happen when you sacrifice for the others. And I hope you know how much Beck and I cherish your friendship, cherish your life. And I know those kids, those 3 incredible little bundles of joy. I'm so glad you won, Phallus. Because can you imagine only 2? Like, nah. No, you needed that 3rd. But we pray over your family, and we are so honored to just be your friends. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for your investment. And I'm already missing. Me and Dave are hopping on a plane to head back, and our heart is already missing you. So we love you. Keep doing what you do. We're your biggest champions, and we cannot wait to see what the next chapter has in the Chibambos.
Thank you so much.
We love you, and we love you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you want more guests, if you want more incredible people like Fales and Blessings, let us know. Maybe recommend incredible couples that you think it would be awesome for us to interview. But we love you. Until next time, we'll catch you later. And I'm sure Beck will join me. I miss you, babe. I can't wait to see you soon. All right. Take care.